Forced national service, North American Union, open borders, new wars, massive gun confiscation, banning, registration, licensing. It's all happening. You better get the word out, folks. You know, I get on air and I say, please spread the word about this radio show. We tell it like it is. We don't pull punches. We lay out the architecture of the globalists and how to beat them. But we have to get this information out to everybody. If just the listeners of this show would take my films and make 100 copies apiece of Road to Tyranny or Terror Storm or the Obama Deception and give those to others with a note saying, hey, please make copies and pay this forward, pass this on, we would bring these people down. But we've only, I think, got 6 months to a year before they stage another huge terror attack. We are in a race before they stage a new war. Before they fully implode things, ladies and gentlemen, this is desperate. They're bringing everybody into a crisis, so the public panics and says, we'll do whatever you say, and there'll be riots and all of this, as they're saying they're going to have. So we accept military occupation and face scanning cameras everywhere and being body scanned over the airports. I mean, it's just all happening. It's so evil. And I know a lot of military and police and bureaucrats in the system are waking up now. Good. You know, you heard us tell you this 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You laughed. You know it's true now. Everything we told you has come true. Listen to me. The people running this New World Order pulled off the Nazi op, the Soviet op, the Chinese Communist op, the Pol Pot op. They just haven't fully moved against us because we have the Second Amendment. I don't want this to go to the next level. We can avert this. We can stall the enemy. We can back them off. We can wake more people up. But it's going to take maximum effort and facing the facts of how serious and grave and dire our situation is. You know, I have become so acclimated to the fact that the government openly has put out Pentagon plans to forcibly microchip the American people. And now it's even been mainstream news. I have become so acclimated to the fact that the globalists by design are collapsing every major nation in the world, that Mexico is now in civil war, that Texas is now under civil emergency, the border is under martial law. We had a state senator on yesterday. A society with 100 million people is collapsing just south of us. Most people I know are losing their houses in Austin. There's no one there to buy them. They're openly building FEMA camps, openly saying they're going to use 20,000 U.S. troops against the American people. Army War College says they're training to engage the American people. They're doing gun confiscation drills everywhere, house to house. And then newspapers have the nerve to claim we're making this up and to say we're fearmongers. I mean, go watch my films. I said they would have a contrived economic collapse through the derivatives market, specifically in the subprime mortgage, is what they would blame it on. And exactly what we said 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 2 years ago, it's all happening. We know what's going on. This show, the guests we have, the information, it's all I do is interview experts of every facet, constantly read documents, constantly read news, constantly read legislation. And I'm just pretty much sitting here calmly as Rome burns around me. I'm not evacuating. I'm expanding in the middle of it. And if the people would just wake up to how bankrupt and how illegitimate and how criminal and how just overtly tyrannical the scum that masquerades as the government is, and the corporations that control it like a puppet, a hand puppet, you know, let's get past Obama. He's literally the little hand puppet stuck on there, a little smiley face. And I'm like, look, do you notice there's an arm beneath him? The special interests, the big banks, the lobbyist, all his lies, going back on everything, expanding the torture, expanding the secret arrest. Headline, Bush, Obama backs Bush on no rights for detainees. Reuters. Reuters headline, abuse intensifying at camps. And I talked to, quote, liberals. They just want to feel good and walk around like everything's fine. See, they perfectly bring Bush in. He tears everything up, acts like a scumbag. Then they give you the smart, well-spoken, intellectual, sell him. The media claims he's God, puts halos on him on the news. I mean, it's ridiculous. And says, he'll fix it. I know stuff's scary. He'll fix it. People say, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Fix it. And instead, he is in the same course, same direction of George Bush, except Bush had the throttle down about 70%. Obama literally slammed the throttle down all the way in the ship of state, and that wasn't fast enough, so he went in electronically, took the governor off, and now the engine's just blowing fire out the back. It's going so fast. I mean, the skin on our faces is shaking and pulling back like we're astronauts re-entering orbit as we just plunge like a meteor straight into tyranny. And there's just people going, oh, I love Obama. Oh, I love him. Oh, he's so good. Obama. Meanwhile, the Republicans are all, how dare him have secret camps? How dare him expand government? How dare him do all these bad things? Meanwhile, you were the guys cheerleading Bush, going, Bush, 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 the government's gonna save me from Muslim extremists. How do you like it now? How do you like it? Who are you worried about? You worried about the bankers in Washington? Or are you worried about the man in the cave that made NORAD stand down and had Building 7 fall when nothing hit it? Who they admit's a CIA asset going back to Timbuktu. I mean, it is ridiculous. We are being financially, economically conquered with the military carrying up the rear because the elite can't allow the American people to take the government back because then we would prosecute these criminals. That's the thing people don't get about tyranny. The aim is to steal and loot and dominate and to use social engineering to suppress the public so that the criminal overclass never is brought to justice. And it's this attitude of, yeah, it's about oil. We're an empire, but we rule it. Oh, you think you're part of the elite. You think you're part of the winning team. You are nothing to them either. The minute they can rob you blind, they will. The Romans went all over Gaul and Germania and what's Austria and Germany and France today, and they would go in to the areas and kill all the men, kill most of the women, and take the good-looking women and the healthy children back to Rome. And they had handbooks on how to do it. Handbooks on how to lie to them, how to even get them to lay down their arms. Then they'll use a minor infraction to renege on their promise. Because they wanted the terror. They wanted to have the people who they were going to face know they were going to be killed. See, you don't understand that, though, some of you out there.